Chief Engineer Ryan Park moved through the Retribution's engine core with practiced efficiency, his hands dancing across control panels that hummed with barely contained power. The engineering section was a maze of corridors and chambers built around the most dangerous device humanity had ever created. Stellar Converter Status Report. Captain Rodriguez's voice crackled through the intercom. Core temperature rising to operational levels, Ryan replied, watching the readings climb on his primary display. Antimatter containment fields are stable. We're at 60% power and climbing. Around him, his engineering team worked with the precision of a Swiss watch. They had trained for this moment for 5 years, running simulation after simulation. But simulations could not capture the reality of bringing humanity's ultimate weapon online while surrounded by an enemy fleet. Dr. Kate Sullivan floated into the engineering section through the main access tube, her physicist's mind already calculating the variables they would need for their impossible shot. Unlike the aliens with their flowing bioships, human vessels still used artificial gravity and sealed compartments. Old-fashioned perhaps, but reliable. The gravitational lensing array is responding normally, Kate reported, pulling up holographic displays that showed the complex mathematics involved in their weapon system. But Ryan, we've never attempted a target at this range before, Ryan nodded grimly. The stellar converter had been tested exactly 3 times, each test conducted in empty space far from inhabited systems. The weapon's power was beyond anything in human experience, requiring technology that pushed the very limits of physics. Range to the Zephyrian homestar? He asked. 15.7 light years, Kate replied. The gravitational field will need to fold space-time across that entire distance simultaneously. The science behind their weapon was simple in concept but staggering in execution. While other species had focused on energy manipulation and biological integration, humanity had pursued a different path. They had learned to weaponize the fundamental forces of the universe itself. The stellar converter did not simply destroy targets. It reached across interstellar distances through folded space-time and destabilized the nuclear fusion process within stars themselves. A controlled supernova that could be triggered from anywhere in the galaxy. Captain, Ryan said into his communicator, we're going to need another few minutes for full power buildup. How many minutes? Rodriguez asked. 3 at minimum. Maybe 4 if we want to be absolutely certain of success. Through the hull, they could feel the vibrations of the Zephyrian ships moving closer. The enemy fleet had no idea what they were facing. To their sensors, the Retribution probably looked like it was having some kind of technical malfunction. Dr. Alex Turner, the ship's theoretical physicist, emerged from the secondary calculation chamber with a portable computer in his hands. His face was pale but determined as he reviewed the final targeting equations. The mathematical model is solid, he announced. We can definitely reach their homestar from here. The question is whether we can maintain gravitational coherence across that distance. Kate pulled up a 3-dimensional map of local space, showing the relative positions of stars and the gravitational fields between them. We'll need to account for 17 different stellar gravity wells along the targeting path. Any one of them could deflect our shot. Not deflect, Alex corrected. The gravitational beam will punch through normal space-time like it's not even there. But those gravity wells could distort our targeting accuracy? Ryan checked his power readings again. The antimatter reactors were approaching critical output levels, contained by magnetic fields so powerful they could crush atoms. 75% power and rising. The containment system is holding steady. Captain Rodriguez's voice came through the intercom again, carrying obvious tension. Engineering, the Zephyrian fleet is demanding our surrender. How much longer do you need? 2 minutes for minimum safe firing parameters, Ryan replied. 4 minutes for optimal targeting accuracy. We may not have 4 minutes. Through the ship's internal sensors, they could see what the captain was dealing with. The massive Zephyrian bioship was approaching rapidly, its living hull rippling with weapon ports that were opening like hungry mouths. The alien vessel was easily 10 times their size and clearly intended to disable the retribution before they could complete whatever they were attempting. "Ryan," Kate said urgently, "what happens if we fire at suboptimal power?" The chief engineer considered the question carefully. "At 75% power, we can definitely trigger stellar collapse, but the timing might be off by several seconds. Instead of a controlled supernova, we might get a more chaotic explosion." "Chaotic how?" "The difference between a surgical strike and a nuclear hammer. Same end result, but messier." Dr. Turner looked up from his calculations. "Messy might actually work in our favor. A chaotic stellar explosion will be harder for their scientists to analyze afterward. They won't know exactly how we did it." Kate nodded slowly. The psychological impact was almost as important as the physical destruction. If other species could not understand how humanity had destroyed an entire star system, the mystery would make their reputation even more fearsome. "Captain," Ryan said into the communicator, "we can fire in 90 seconds. It won't be pretty, but it will get the job done." "Acknowledged. Continue power buildup." Around them, the Retribution's hull continued its transformation. The external armor plating had withdrawn completely, revealing the stellar converter's primary focusing array. From the outside, the ship now looked like a flower made of metal and crystal. With a single massive aperture pointing toward empty space, the Zephyrian fleet had no idea that empty space was not the target. 80% power, Ryan announced. Antimatter containment is stable. Gravitational field generators are responding normally. Kate's fingers flew across her control interface as she made final adjustments to the targeting calculations, accounting for stellar drift, gravitational lensing, and space-time distortion along the firing path. We have a 97% probability of hitting the target star's core. "What about the 3% margin of error?" Alex asked. "If we miss the core, we hit the outer layers. Still causes stellar collapse, just takes a few minutes longer." Ryan watched his power readings climb past 85%. The engineering deck around him hummed with energy that could power entire cities. All of it focused on one purpose: reaching across interstellar space to grab a star by its nuclear heart and squeeze. "Captain," he said, "stellar converter will be ready to fire in 30 seconds. Understood. All hands prepare for weapons discharge. This is not a drill." The announcement echoed through every deck of the ship. In the crew quarters, off-duty personnel strapped themselves into acceleration couches. In the science labs, researchers secured their equipment and prepared to record humanity's first use of stellar-scale weaponry in combat. Kate made her final targeting adjustment and locked the coordinates into the firing computer. Target confirmed. Zephyrian Homestar, distance 15.7 light-years, core temperature approximately 15 million degrees Kelvin. Gravitational field coherence at maximum, Alex reported. Spacetime fold is stable across the entire targeting path. Ryan's hands hovered over the final control sequence. 5 years of preparation had led to this moment. Humanity's greatest scientific achievement was about to become its most terrible weapon. 90% power and holding, he announced. All systems green. Stellar converter ready to fire on your command, Captain? The response came immediately. Fire. Ryan pressed the activation sequence, and 15 light-years away, a star that had burned peacefully for billions of years suddenly began to die. 3 months had passed since Earth closed its borders. No alien ship was allowed near the planet. No tribute was sent to the Galactic Consortium. For the first time in 20 years, Earth belonged to humans again. Admiral Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of Defense Station Alpha. It was the biggest and strongest of the 12 stations that protected Earth. Each station had weapons that could destroy large ships. They also had shields that could stop most alien attacks. "Admiral, we have contact," said Lieutenant Colonel Steve Johnson. He was in charge of all the defense stations. Steve had spent years learning how alien weapons worked. Now he used that knowledge to build better defenses for Earth. Jake looked at the big screen in front of him. Hundreds of red dots appeared at the edge of the solar system. The dots were moving fast toward Earth, Each dot was an alien warship. How many ships? Jake asked. Steve counted the dots on his screen. 237 ships. This is the biggest fleet we have ever seen. Jake felt his heart beat faster. He had known this day would come. The aliens would not let Earth go without a fight. But seeing so many enemy ships still made him scared. Send a message to all stations, Jake said. Battle stations? This is not a drill. Across the solar system, 12 defense stations came alive with activity. Thousands of humans ran to their posts. Weapons were charged, shields were raised. Everyone knew that the next few hours would decide Earth's future. Engineer Monica Phillips was working in the deep levels of Defense Station Alpha. She was in charge of the new weapon systems that Earth had built in secret. For 3 months, she had worked without sleep to make these weapons ready. Monica, are the railguns ready? Jake asked over the communication system. Monica looked at her screens. Green lights showed that all systems were working. All 12 stations report ready, Admiral. The railguns are charged and aimed. The railguns were Monica's greatest creation. They fired metal slugs at incredible speeds. The slugs could punch through any alien shield and destroy any ship. The aliens had never seen weapons like these before on the planet below. General Paul Anderson was preparing Earth's armies. Every country had sent soldiers to help defend their world. Americans fought next to Russians. Chinese soldiers worked with Europeans. For the first time in history, all of Earth's armies worked together. All ground forces report ready, Paul said into his radio. If any alien ships get through the stations, we will be waiting. Dr. Lisa Carter was in her secret laboratory under the mountains of Colorado. She was working on the most important project of her life. For years, she had studied alien technology in secret. Now she was building weapons that would surprise their enemies. Lisa, how are the new shields working? Jake asked. Lisa checked her computers. The new shields used energy in a different way than alien shields. They could absorb attacks and turn that energy into power for Earth's weapons. The shields are holding at full strength, Lisa said. But Jake, I need to tell you something. I have been listening to alien communications. They think this will be easy. They think we will surrender as soon as we see their fleet. Jake smiled for the first time in months. Then they are in for a big surprise. The alien fleet was now halfway to Earth. Their ships were huge and covered with weapons. The biggest ship was 10 kilometers long. It carried the flag of Fleet Admiral Zexkoth, the most feared military leader in the galaxy. Communication officer Betty Young was listening to messages between the alien ships. She could understand their language because she had studied it for years. Admiral, they are talking about victory parades, Betty said. They think the war will be over in one day. They are planning how to divide our planet between their different species. Jake felt anger fill his chest. The aliens thought humans were weak. They thought Earth would fall without a real fight. They were about to learn how wrong they were. All stations, prepare to fire, Jake said into his microphone. Wait for my command. The alien fleet reached the outer edge of Earth's defensive zone. Admiral Zexkoth sent a message to Earth. His voice was cold and full of hate. Humans of Earth, you have rebelled against the Galactic Consortium. This crime cannot be forgiven. Surrender now, and your deaths will be quick. Continue to resist, and we will make your species suffer for 1,000 years. Jake picked up his microphone. He sent a message back to the alien fleet. His voice was calm, but strong. Admiral Zexkoth, this is Admiral Morrison of the Earth Defense Force. We have a message for you and your consortium. Earth is closed to alien visitors. Turn around and leave our system now. The alien admiral laughed. The sound was like metal scraping against stone. Foolish human, you have no choice. Our fleet will crush your defenses in minutes. Your species will learn to obey their superiors. We tried to warn you, Jake said. Then he switched to the defense channel. All stations, you are cleared to fire. 12 defense stations fired at the same time. Railgun slugs flew through space faster than light. They hit the alien fleet before the aliens could react. 20 ships exploded in the first 10. Seconds, 30 more ships lost their shields and weapons. Admiral Zexkoth stared at his screens in shock. He had expected easy victory. Instead, his fleet was being destroyed by weapons he had never seen before. "Return fire," he screamed. "Destroy those stations." The alien ships fired their energy weapons at the defense stations. Bright beams of light crossed the darkness of space. But when the beams hit Earth's shields, something unexpected happened. The shields absorbed the energy and fed it back to the railguns. "Monica, the shields are working perfectly," Jake said. "The aliens are charging our weapons for us." Monica laughed as she watched her screens. Each alien attack made Earth's weapons stronger. "This is better than I hoped. We can fight all day if they keep feeding us energy." The battle continued for 6 hours. More alien ships arrived to help their fleet. But the more they attacked, the stronger Earth's defenses became. By the end of the day, over 100 alien ships were destroyed or damaged. Admiral Zexkoth could not believe what was happening. His fleet was the strongest in the galaxy. They had conquered 1,000 worlds. But these humans were fighting, back with weapons and tactics he had never seen. "How are they doing this?" he asked his science officer. "Unknown, Admiral," the science officer replied. "Their technology appears to be a mix of our own designs and something completely new. Their shields are unlike anything in our databases." General Paul Anderson watched the battle from his command center on Earth. He saw alien ships burning in space above his planet. Human weapons were winning against the greatest fleet in the galaxy. "This is just the beginning," Paul said to his officers. "If they want Earth, they will have to fight for every meter of space." Dr. Lisa Carter was already working on new weapons. The battle had shown her that her ideas worked. Now she could make them even better. "Jake, I can have improved weapons ready in 2 weeks," Lisa said. "The aliens will never expect what we build next." As night fell on Earth, the alien fleet pulled back to a safe distance. They had lost too many ships to continue the attack. Admiral Zexkoth sent angry messages to the consortium leaders. He demanded more ships and better weapons, but on Earth, humans celebrated their first victory. They had faced the most powerful fleet in the galaxy and won. Children looked up at the stars and saw burning alien ships instead of conquering enemies. Jake Morrison stood at his window and watched the alien fleet retreat. He knew this was only the first battle. More aliens would come. The war was just beginning. But for the first time in 20 years, Jake felt hope. Humans could fight back. They could win. Earth would never be a slave world again. "Betty, send a message to all the defense stations," Jake said. "Tell them they fought well today. Tell them this is what happens when free people defend their home." Communication Officer Betty Young smiled as she sent the message. All across the solar system, humans cheered. They had proven that Earth's borders were closed. Now they would prove that they intended to keep them that way. 6 months had passed since the first alien attack on Earth. The war was not over. More alien fleets kept coming. But something strange was happening. The longer the war continued, the better humans became at fighting. Major Kevin Clark flew his fighter ship through the asteroid belt near Mars. He was leading a squad of 12 human pilots. Their job was to attack alien supply ships. Before they could reach the main fleet, Kevin's ship was different from alien fighters. It was smaller and faster. Most importantly, it could change direction quickly. Alien ships were built for straight line attacks. They could not turn as fast as human ships. "This is Red Leader," Kevin said into his radio. "I see 3 alien supply ships ahead. Remember the plan. Hit fast and get out faster." Kevin had learned something important about aliens during the war. They followed rules. Their military training taught them to do the same things every time. Humans were different. Humans could think of new ideas during a battle. The alien supply ships were huge and slow. They carried weapons and food for the fleet attacking Earth. Destroying these ships would make the aliens weaker. "Red 2 here," said pilot Amy Johnson. "I count 12 fighter escorts around the supply ships." Kevin smiled inside his helmet. 12 alien fighters against 12 human fighters should have been an equal fight. But Kevin knew better. Human pilots had advantages that aliens did not understand. "Remember, everyone," Kevin said. "Aliens expect us to attack from the front. They train for that. We are going to do something they never practice for." Kevin led his squad in a wide circle around the alien ships. Then he did something that broke every rule of space combat. He turned off his ship's engines and let it drift silently toward the aliens. The other human pilots did the same thing. 12 ships drifted through space like dead rocks. The aliens could not see them on their scanners. Alien technology was designed to find ships with active engines. "Now," Kevin whispered into his radio, all 12 human ships turned their engines back on at the same time. They attacked the alien formation from 6 different directions. The aliens had never trained for this kind of attack. Kevin's weapons destroyed 2 alien fighters before they could react. Amy Johnson hit a supply ship with her missiles. The ship exploded in a ball of fire that lit up the darkness of space. "How are they doing this?" one alien pilot asked on their radio frequency. Betty Young was listening to alien communications from Earth. She heard the fear in the alien's voice. "Their ships appear and disappear like ghosts," another alien pilot replied. "This is not possible with known technology." Kevin and his pilots destroyed all 3 supply ships and 8 of the escort fighters. The surviving aliens ran away. They sent urgent messages to their fleet commanders. "The humans fight like no species we have ever encountered," the messages said. "They do not follow proper combat procedures, attack from impossible directions." Back on Earth, Dr. Lisa Carter was working in her laboratory. She had been studying alien technology for months. What she discovered shocked her. "Jake, you need to see this," Lisa said into her communication device. Admiral Jake Morrison came to the laboratory. Lisa showed him a broken alien computer that her team had taken from a destroyed ship. "Look at this," Lisa said. She pointed to the alien computer screen. "This is how they program their fighters to attack." Jake looked at the screen. He saw lists of commands that told alien pilots exactly what to do in every situation. If the enemy attacked from the front, use tactic number 7. If the enemy attacked from the left, use tactic number 12. "They have a rule for everything," Jake said. "Exactly," Lisa replied. "Alien pilots are not trained to think for themselves. They just follow the program. But humans think of new ideas during battle. That is why Kevin's squad keeps winning." Chief Engineer Nicole Roberts was working on a different project. She was building new types of spaceships that were completely human in design. These ships were not copies of alien technology. They were something new. "Nicole, how are the new ships coming along?" Jake asked. Nicole wiped grease from her hands. She had been working on ship engines for 14 hours straight. "The first ship will be ready for testing next week. It is unlike anything in the galaxy." Nicole showed Jake the plans for the new ship. It was smaller than alien warships, but had more weapons. It also had something that alien ships did not have. It could repair itself during battle. If part of the ship gets damaged, other parts can take over, Nicole explained. Alien ships stop working if you hit the right spot. Our ships will keep fighting even when they are badly hurt. The alien fleet around Earth was getting bigger every week. Admiral Zexkov had called for help from across the galaxy. Ships came from 100 different worlds to attack the human planet, but the aliens were learning to fear human tactics. Human fighters appeared where they were not expected. Human weapons worked in ways that alien computers could not predict. Human ships used tricks that no alien had ever imagined. Communications specialist Tony Garcia was listening to messages between alien ships. What he heard made him excited, Admiral Morrison, Tony said. "You need to hear this alien message I just intercepted." Tony played the message for Jake. It was from Admiral Zexkoth to the consortium leaders on the capital world. "The humans are unlike any enemy we have faced," the alien admiral said. "They do not fight according to established military doctrine. Every day they use new tactics that our training does not cover. I request immediate reinforcement with our most experienced fleets. Jake smiled when he heard the message. The aliens were scared. They were used to fighting enemies who followed the same rules they did. Humans made up new rules every day. Doc Darkharder made another important discovery. She found that human brains worked differently from alien brains. Aliens were very good at learning complex tasks, but once they learned something, they always did it the same way. Human brains are more flexible, Lisa explained to the other commanders. We can change our thinking quickly. Aliens have trouble doing that. It takes them weeks to develop new tactics. We develop new tactics during every battle. This difference was showing up everywhere in the war. Human engineers built new weapons faster than aliens could develop defenses. Human pilots invented new flying techniques faster than aliens could write new training programs. Engineer Monica Phillips had upgraded the defense stations around Earth. The new weapons could learn from each alien attack. After every battle, the weapons became smarter and more deadly. The stations are evolving, Monica explained. Each time the aliens attack, our computers study their tactics. Then we program better responses. It is like the stations are learning to fight. The aliens noticed that Earth's defenses kept getting stronger. They sent the same attack pattern twice and found that it did not work the second time. This confused them greatly. How do the humans improve their defenses so quickly? Alien scientists asked. They could not understand how Earth's weapons learned and adapted. Meanwhile, Tony Garcia had made contact with several alien species that were part of the consortium against their will. These species had been conquered by the main alien empire years ago. They were forced to send ships to attack Earth. Admiral, I have been talking to pilots from the Zephyrian species, Tony said. They do not want to fight us. They say their people are prisoners of the consortium. This was important news. If some alien species were unwilling allies of the consortium, they might become willing allies of Earth instead. Jake decided to send a secret message to the Zephyrian pilots. The message was simple but powerful. We know you do not want to be here, the message said. Earth fights for the freedom of all species. Join us and help free your people from the consortium. The response came quickly. 3 Zephyrian ships broke away from the alien fleet and flew toward Earth. They transmitted surrender codes and asked for protection. Admiral Zexkoth was furious when he saw the Zephyrian ships defect. He sent attack ships to destroy them, but human fighters protected the defecting ships. Kevin Clark himself led the escort mission. This is Red Leader to Zephyrian ships, Kevin said. Welcome to the free side of this war. The 3 Zephyrian ships landed on Earth. Their pilots told human leaders about conditions inside the consortium. They described planets where entire species were enslaved. They talked about forced military service and tribute demands that destroyed civilizations. The consortium rules through fear, the Zephyrian captain explained. Many species want to rebel, but they think they are alone. If they knew that Earth was winning, they might find the courage to fight. Jake realized that this war was bigger than just defending Earth. It was about freeing the entire galaxy from an evil empire. And humans might be the only species crazy enough to lead that fight. Tony, I want you to start broadcasting messages to all alien species, Jake said. Tell them what we are really fighting for. Tell them that freedom is possible. As the war entered its 7th month, the balance was shifting. The aliens still had more ships and more weapons, but the humans had something the aliens could not match. They had the ability to change, to adapt, and to never give up hope, and across the galaxy, other species were starting to listen to Earth's message of freedom. The war had been going on for 8 months now. Earth was still free, but the fighting was spreading across the galaxy. Other species were starting to rebel against the consortium. Human broadcasts of freedom had reached hundreds of worlds. Ambassador Catherine Murphy sat in a small meeting room on Earth's moon. Across from her were representatives from 5 different alien species. These aliens had come to Earth in secret. They wanted to join the fight against the consortium. My people have been slaves for 300 years, said Captain Vex of the Altarian species. We build ships for the consortium fleet, but now we want to build ships for ourselves. Catherine had been chosen for this job because she was good at talking to different kinds of people. She had spent months learning alien languages and customs. Now she was helping to build an alliance against the consortium. Earth can provide weapons and training, Catherine said. But you must understand that this will be dangerous. The consortium will try to destroy any world that rebels. We know the risks, said Commander Talanash of the Kepler species, but living as slaves is also dangerous. At least if we fight, we might win our freedom. The meeting was secret because consortium spies were everywhere. If the alien empire learned about this alliance, they would attack all the rebel worlds at once. Covert Operations Director Nathan Brooks was in charge of keeping these meetings secret. He used human stealth technology to move representatives between worlds without being detected. The consortium knows something is happening, Nathan reported to Admiral Jake Morrison. Their patrol ships are searching for our stealth vessels, but so far they have not found any. Jake was pleased with this news. Human stealth technology was better than anything the aliens had. Human ships could become invisible to alien sensors. This let Earth help rebel worlds without being caught. Dr. Lisa Carter had made another breakthrough. She had learned how to build quantum communication devices. These devices could send messages instantly across hundreds of light years. Even better, the consortium could not intercept or decode these messages. Jake, we now have secure communication with 12 rebel worlds, Lisa said. We can coordinate attacks across the galaxy in real time. This was a huge advantage. The consortium took days or weeks to send messages between distant worlds. Earth could talk to its allies instantly. This meant human-led forces could work together perfectly while consortium forces struggled to coordinate. The first major test of this new alliance came when the Zephyrian homeworld declared independence from the consortium. 3 billion Zephyrians announced that they would no longer serve the alien empire. Captain Ryan Brooks led the first official human military mission outside Earth's solar system. His job was to help the Zephyrians defend their world from consortium attack. Ryan's fleet consisted of 20 of Earth's new warships. These ships had been built using lessons learned from months of fighting. They were fast, tough, and could repair themselves during battle. This is Captain Brooks to Zephyrian Defense Command, Ryan said as his fleet arrived at the Zephyrian system. Earth stands with free people everywhere. The Zephyrian leader was grateful to see human ships. Captain Brooks, consortium attack fleets are already on their way here. We estimate they will arrive in 6 hours. Ryan studied the situation. The Zephyrians had converted some of their industrial ships into makeshift warships. But these ships were not designed for combat. They would not last long against real consortium warships. We need to even the odds, Ryan said to his officers. The consortium expects the Zephyrians to fight like other alien species. They do not expect human tactics. Ryan had learned from the best human pilots and strategists. He knew that the key to winning was to do things the enemy did not expect. When the consortium fleet arrived, they found the Zephyrian world defended by what looked like a normal alien defensive formation. Zephyrian ships were arranged in neat lines around their planet. It looked like a traditional alien defense that followed standard military doctrine. This will be easy, the consortium admiral said. These rebels fight like all aliens fight. We will crush them quickly. But Ryan had taught the Zephyrians a human trick. The ships in neat lines were not the real defense. The real defense was hidden among the asteroids and space debris around the planet. When the consortium fleet attacked the visible Zephyrian ships, human vessels appeared from hiding. Ryan's ships hit the alien fleet from the sides and rear. The aliens had not expected this kind of coordinated attack. How are there human ships here? The consortium admiral asked in panic. Our intelligence said Earth was still under siege. This was another human advantage. The consortium thought in simple terms. They believed that if Earth was defending itself, it could not also be attacking elsewhere. They did not understand that humans could do many things at the same time. The battle lasted 4 hours. Ryan's human ships and the Zephyrian defenders destroyed half of the consortium fleet. The surviving alien ships retreated in confusion. "This is impossible," the consortium admiral reported to his superiors. "The rebels fight with human tactics and human weapons. The rebellion is spreading faster than we can contain it." News of the Zephyrian victory spread across the galaxy through Lisa's quantum communication network. Within days, 6 more worlds declared independence from the consortium. On Earth, journalist Alex Turner was broadcasting these victories to the entire galaxy. His messages reached billions of oppressed aliens. For the first time in centuries, these aliens heard that the consortium could be defeated. "Freedom is not just a human idea," Alex said in his broadcast. "Every intelligent species deserves to control its own destiny. Earth proves that small groups of determined people can defeat even the largest empires." The consortium leaders were becoming desperate. Their empire was falling apart. Worlds that had been loyal for hundreds of years was suddenly joining the rebellion. Emperor Vexter himself appeared on galactic communication networks. His message was directed at all rebel worlds. "You have been deceived by human lies," the Emperor said. "Humans are a primitive species that brings only chaos. Return to consortium control now, and your punishment will be light. Continue this rebellion, and entire worlds will be destroyed." But the Emperor's threats only made more species want to join the rebellion. They had lived in fear for too long. Now they had hope, and hope was more powerful than fear. Ambassador Catherine Murphy was working to turn hope into action. She met with leaders from dozens of worlds. Each meeting was held in secret using Nathan Brooks' stealth ships. "The key is coordination," Catherine explained to a gathering of rebel leaders. "The consortium is strong because they control everything from one central point. We can beat them by working together as equal partners." This was a new idea for most alien species. The consortium ruled through force and fear. Each species was isolated and controlled separately. Earth offered something different. Earth offered cooperation between equals. Dr. Carter had shared quantum communication technology with all rebel worlds. Now dozens of species could talk to each other instantly. They began to coordinate their actions across vast distances. For the first time in galactic history, oppressed species can work together, Catherine reported to Jake. "The consortium cannot fight all of them at once." The first coordinated rebellion happened in the Vega sector. 5 worlds declared independence on the same day at the same time. When consortium forces moved to attack one world, the other 4 worlds attacked consortium bases in their systems. Ryan Brooks was leading human advisors on 3 of the rebel worlds. Human tactics and weapons were proving effective for other species too. The key was teaching aliens to think creatively instead of following fixed rules. "The aliens are learning fast," Ryan reported to Earth. "Once you show them that they can break the rules, they start coming up with their own new ideas." This was exactly what Jake had hoped would happen. Humans could not free the entire galaxy by themselves, but they could teach other species how to fight for their own freedom. The consortium was facing the largest rebellion in its history, but Emperor Vexter was not ready to give up. He began gathering the largest fleet ever assembled. His plan was to destroy Earth completely and end the rebellion once and for all. Intelligence Officer Tony Garcia intercepted communications about this massive fleet. "Admiral Morrison, the Emperor is calling ships from across the galaxy. This fleet will have over 2,000 warships." Jake looked at the intelligence reports. 2,000 ships was more than Earth had ever faced before. But Jake was not afraid. In 8 months of war, humans had learned that numbers were not everything. "How long before this fleet reaches Earth?" Jake asked. 3 weeks, Tony replied. Jake smiled. 3 weeks was enough time to prepare a surprise that the Emperor would never expect. "Send a message to all our allies. Tell them it is time for the biggest coordinated attack in galactic history." The rebellion was about to become a revolution, and at the center of it all was a small blue planet that had dared to close its borders to an empire. The war had been going on for over a year now. Earth was no longer alone in its fight against the Consortium. 43 worlds had joined the rebellion, but now came the biggest test yet. Emperor Vexter was coming to Earth with the largest fleet in galactic history. Dr. Lisa Carter stood in her laboratory looking at her greatest creation. It was a new type of engine that could make ships travel faster than anything in the galaxy. But this engine was different from alien technology in an important way. "Jake, you need to see this," Lisa said into her communication device. Admiral Jake Morrison came to the laboratory. Lisa showed him a small device that glowed with blue light. "This is our new faster-than-light engine," Lisa said. "Alien engines take hours to charge up for a long jump. Our engines can jump instantly, again and again." Jake understood why this was important. Alien fleets had to plan their movements days in advance. They could not change direction quickly once they started traveling. But human ships could now appear anywhere in the galaxy within minutes. "How many ships have the new engines?" Jake asked. "All 50 of our new warships," Lisa replied. "Plus, we have installed the engines in supply ships and scout ships. We can move our entire fleet anywhere we want." Factory manager Donald Wright was working around the clock to build more ships. Earth's factories now produced vessels faster than any world in the galaxy. The secret was human automation technology. "We are building ships in ways that aliens never thought possible," Donald explained to Jake. "Our robot workers can change the design of a ship while they are building it. If we learn something new during a battle, we can use that knowledge in ships that are still being built." This flexibility amazed alien observers. Consortium factories took months to change their production plans. Human factories could adapt new designs in hours. Pilot Amy Johnson was now the most famous fighter pilot in the galaxy. She had shot down over 100 alien ships. But more importantly, she had taught her tactics to pilots from dozens of species. "The key is not to think like a computer," Amy explained to a group of new rebel pilots. "Computers follow programs. Living beings can make choices that no computer expects." Amy had developed new ways of flying that seemed impossible to alien strategists. She could make her ship move in directions that alien computers said were not allowed by physics. But human understanding of physics was more advanced than alien knowledge. "Aliens think that space has rules," Amy said. "But space is just empty area. The only rules are the ones in your head." These new flying techniques were being shared across the rebellion through Dr. Carter's quantum communication network. Now, pilots on distant worlds could learn from Earth's best fighters in real time. Engineer Monica Phillips had upgraded Earth's defense stations again. The stations could now move to different positions around the solar system. This mobility confused alien attack plans that assumed the stations would stay in fixed locations. "The stations are not just weapons platforms anymore," Monica explained. "They are mobile fortresses that can support our fleets anywhere in the system." Each station was now equipped with the new instant jump engines. If aliens attacked one part of the solar system, all 12 stations could be there within minutes to help defend it. The Emperor's massive fleet was now only 1 week away from Earth, intelligence reports said. It contained ships from over 200 different worlds. Many of these ships carried crews that did not want to fight humans but were forced to by Consortium law, communications. Specialist Tony Garcia had been sending secret messages to these unwilling crews. The messages explained that Earth fought for the freedom of all species, not just humans. "We have received responses from crews on over 300 ships," Tony reported to Jake. "Many of them want to surrender or defect when the battle starts." This was encouraging news. If hundreds of ships switched sides during the battle, it would greatly help Earth's chances, but Emperor Vexter had planned for this possibility. His intelligence officers had identified ships with questionable loyalty. These ships were placed in the center of the fleet where they could not escape or surrender easily. "The Emperor is not stupid," Jake said to his staff. "He knows that his empire is falling apart. He will do anything to stop the rebellion." Captain Ryan Brooks had returned to Earth from the outer rebellion worlds. He brought with him representatives from 23 alien species. These aliens wanted to fight alongside humans in the coming battle. "Admiral Morrison," said Commander Talanash of the Kepler species, "our worlds cannot send large fleets to help Earth, but we can send our best warriors to stand with you." Jake was moved by this offer. These aliens were willing to risk their lives to defend a world they had never seen. They fought not for Earth, but for the idea that Earth represented. "Every warrior who stands with us makes us stronger," Jake replied. "We are honored to fight alongside free people from across the galaxy." The alien volunteers brought with them knowledge about consortium fleet tactics. They had served in consortium forces before their worlds rebelled. Now they used that knowledge to help plan Earth's defense. "The Emperor's fleet will attack in 3 waves, explained a former consortium officer. "The first wave is meant to test your defenses. The second wave is the main attack. The third wave is held in reserve to finish off survivors." This information helped Jake plan his strategy. Instead of defending against all 3 waves, he would attack during the brief pauses between waves. Human mobility would let Earth's fleet hit the aliens when they were not ready. Dr. Carter had one more surprise for the Emperor's fleet. She had learned how to build weapons that could disrupt alien communications. When these weapons were used, alien ships could not talk to each other or receive orders from their commanders. Communication disruption will turn their organized fleet into a collection of confused individual ships, Lisa explained. Each ship will have to make its own decisions without knowing what the other ships are doing. This was perfect for fighting aliens. Most alien crews were trained to follow orders, not to think for themselves. If they could not receive orders, many of them would not know what to do. Engineer Nicole Roberts had finished building Earth's first generation of truly human-designed warships. These ships looked nothing like alien vessels. They were smaller, faster, and much more flexible. "Each ship can change its configuration during battle," Nicole explained. "If you need more weapons, the ship can convert cargo space into weapon space. If you need more speed, the ship can convert weapon space into engine space." This adaptability was something alien technology could not match. Alien ships were built for one specific purpose and could not change. Human ships could become whatever the battle required. As the Emperor's fleet approached Earth, the entire galaxy watched. Trillions of beings across hundreds of worlds waited to see if the human rebellion could survive its greatest test on Earth. People looked up at the stars and saw the distant lights of approaching enemy ships. Children asked their parents if the bad aliens would win this time. Parents hugged their children and promised that Earth's defenders would keep them safe. Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of Earth's flagship, the new vessel called Freedom's Light. Around him were humans and aliens working together to defend liberty. The ship's crew included representatives from dozens of worlds. "Admiral, the Emperor's fleet will arrive in 6 hours, reported Navigation Officer Karen White. Jake looked at the tactical display showing enemy positions. 2017 ships were coming to destroy Earth. It was the largest fleet ever assembled, but Jake was not afraid. In 1 year of war, humans had learned that courage and creativity could defeat any enemy. Earth had allies across the galaxy now. More importantly, Earth fought for something worth dying for. "Send a message to all ships and stations," Jake said. "Tell them that today we fight not just for Earth, but for the freedom of every thinking being in the galaxy." As the message went out, crews across the solar system prepared for battle. Human ships powered up their instant jump engines. Defense stations moved into attack positions. Fighter pilots climbed into their cockpits. In 6 hours, the largest battle in galactic history would begin. The outcome would decide whether the rebellion lived or died. But whatever happened, Earth had already proven something important. Sometimes, when faced with overwhelming evil, the right thing to do is to close your borders and fight back. And sometimes, if you fight hard enough and long enough, the whole galaxy notices and decides to fight alongside you. Commander Zexthai stared at the dying screens in his command center. Red lights blinked everywhere. Warning sounds filled the air. His ship was falling apart around him, just like the rest of his fleet. How many ships do we have left? He asked. His second officer, 143, sir. We lost 2 more yesterday. Zexthai closed his eyes. When they started running 8 months ago, they had 200 ships. Each ship carried thousands of refugees from 12 different worlds. All those worlds were gone now, dead, eaten by the thing they called the Void Rot. The Void Rot was like nothing anyone had ever seen before. It was part virus, part machine. It ate through both living things and technology. Once it touched something, that thing was doomed. The infection spread fast. Very fast. Sir, the engines on ship 47 are failing, another officer reported. Move. Everyone to the other ships, Zexthai ordered. Then destroy ship 47 before the rot spreads. He hated giving that order. But he had given it so many times now. Every few days, another ship would show signs of infection. They would move the people and blow up the ship. It was the only way to stop the spread. Zexthai walked to the big, window that showed space around them. Out there, he could see the other ships in his fleet. They looked tired. Their hulls were patched and repatched. Their lights were dim. They were all running on backup power now. 3 million people depended on him. 3 million souls from 12 dead worlds. He was supposed to keep them safe, but where could they go? Every world they approached turned them away. Every species they met ran from them in fear. The Galactic Council had declared them a threat. No one was allowed to help them. The Void Rot was too dangerous, too deadly. Better to let the Corvanians die than risk it spreading to other worlds. Sir, should we send another distress call? His communications officer asked. Zexthai had been thinking about this for days. They had sent hundreds of distress calls. No one ever answered. No one wanted to risk getting close to them. But maybe, just maybe, someone would listen. Yes, he said, send it on all frequencies. Make it reach every corner of the galaxy. The communications officer nodded and began working. Zexthai watched him prepare the message. What should he say? How do you ask for help when everyone is afraid of you? Ready, sir? Send this message, Zexthai began, to any ship or world that receives this. We are the survivors of 12 worlds destroyed by the Void Rot plague. We carry 3 million refugees. Our ships are failing. We need help. We need supplies. We need a safe place to go. We understand the risk. We are people. We have children. We have families. Someone, please help us. The message went out into space. It would travel faster than light, reaching every part of the galaxy. Maybe someone would hear it. Maybe someone would care. Far away on Earth, Captain. Jake Morrison was drinking coffee in his ready room. His ship, the UES Discovery, was patrolling near the edge of human space. Earth was still new to this whole galactic community thing. They had only made contact with aliens 5 years ago. Most aliens thought humans were primitive. Their technology was old and simple compared to other species, but humans were curious. They wanted to explore. They wanted to help. Jake's communication officer knocked on his door. Captain, we're getting a strange signal. It's a distress call, but it's coming from really far away. Jake followed him to the bridge, put it on the speakers. The alien voice filled the bridge. The computer translated it into English. Jake listened to the whole message. When it ended, the bridge was quiet. Sir, should we report this to Earth Command? His first officer asked. Jake thought about it. The Galactic Council had rules about these things. Humans were supposed to follow those rules, but this was different. These were people asking for help. Real people with families and children. Get me Admiral Lisa Parker at Earth Command, Jake said. It took a few minutes to establish the connection. Admiral Parker appeared on the main screen. She was a tough woman who had commanded ships longer than Jake had been alive. Captain Morrison, what can I do for you? Admiral, we just received a distress call from an alien fleet. They're refugees running from something called the Void Rot. They need help. Admiral Parker frowned. The Galactic Council has issued warnings. About this fleet, they're considered dangerous. We're supposed to stay away, but they're just people, Admiral. Scared people with nowhere to go. Jake, I understand how you feel, but we can't risk bringing this plague to Earth. We have 8 billion people to protect. Jake looked around his bridge. His crew was listening. He could see they felt the same way he did. Someone needed to help these aliens. What if we could help them without bringing them to Earth? What if we could find a way to stop this plague? Admiral Parker was quiet for a long moment. You think we can do something that advanced alien civilizations couldn't? Maybe we think differently than they do. Our technology is different. Maybe that's what they need. Admiral Parker sighed. Jake, this is dangerous. If you're wrong, you could doom your entire crew. If we're right, we could save 3 million lives. Another long pause. Jake held his breath. All right, Captain. You have permission to investigate, but you take only volunteers. And if this goes bad, you run? Do you understand me? Yes, Admiral. Thank you. Jake turned to his crew. You heard the Admiral. This is dangerous. Anyone who wants to transfer off my ship can do so now. No questions asked. No one moved. His navigator, Kelly Ryan, spoke up. Sir, where do we go to help these people? Jake smiled. He was proud of his crew. Set course for the coordinates in that distress call, and send a message back to the alien fleet. Tell them help is coming. The UES Discovery turned and jumped to faster than light speed. Behind them, Earth got smaller and smaller. Ahead of them was the unknown. Jake didn't know what they would find, but he knew they had to try. In space, there are no borders, no walls. When someone calls for help, you answer. That's what humans do. That's who they are. The Discovery raced through space toward the dying alien fleet. Captain Morrison sat in his chair and hoped they weren't too late.